mom went to an all-white school, and she got pregnant at 15 with me by my dad, a black man. So from the jump, it took some getting used on that side of the family to keep it a buck. They wasn't just off rip accepting.
It's me embracing who I am, and it's hard to express to someone that wouldn't know the struggles that mixed people do experience. So it's kind of something that I just brush off my shoulders, and I don't even care to explain.
Pet fucking orangutan.
I wake up, my man. I take a shit, my man. I make breakfast, my man.
You can be successful, beautiful, and rich and still have low self-esteem. I'm going to explain to you why women like Latto make the decisions that they make. Stay tuned to the end of this video and I'll explain how. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sonia. I'm a nutrition coach. I help women over the age of 40 lose body fat and get in the best shape of their life. And I'm going to further discuss this controversial topic. Recently, Latto just made an announcement on, I believe, Instagram, dropping her new single and popping out pregnant. Now, there has been mixed reviews in regards to her pregnancy. A lot of people have congratulated her on being pregnant, and a lot of people have been condemning her behavior of being a baby mama, especially to a married man, then basically bringing up talking points that she's a hypocrite because she came out saying that she didn't have, what's her bar? She says, big mama, no kids, and how now people are making fun of her with that bar that she used in that song with Summer Walker. But anyways, I'm going to break down why she's moving the way she is and how she actually has low self-esteem and what we can learn from her behavior. Now, as a disclaimer, I do not know these people, and we're going to say alleged because we don't know if Savage 21 is currently married because he has not came out and said that he's married, or there has not been any marriage license circling around the internet, but this is what the internet has been saying, that he is a married man. But back to my topic. Number one, the reason why I believe Latto has low self-esteem is because she doesn't really have a racial identity and being proud of who she is as a biracial woman. Now, I know her name is Mulatto. She went by Mulatto at one point. Then she dropped it because it was actually, I have to do my research just to make sure I'm saying this correctly, but I believe that mulatto was actually a derogatory term that they used against biracials. I could be wrong, so if I'm right, just let me know in the comments to see if I'm on the right track, because I didn't do the research on it. So that's on my behalf. But anyways, she dropped it to Latto, and that just lets me know that she doesn't really have racial pride in being a biracial woman. Now, keep in mind that Latto has a white mother and she a black father. And I'm not going to stereotype all women, white women that have biracial children, but usually, oftentimes when a white woman gets pregnant by a black man, she's ostracized from her community. And therefore, I'm not saying all her family's racist, but she will have some racial encounters, especially with her family being isolated. Latto have mentioned, I believe on the show Growing Up Hip Hop, how they told her mother that she needed to board that mud, which she was carrying Latto at the time. So you can only imagine what Latto was going through growing up in a household that probably had family that treated her differently due to her being a mixed race child. Then she also said that she was bullied as being biracial. I don't know if she was bullied by white kids or black kids, but based on the clip, I'm going to assume that who she was bullied by was black women. And I'm not trying to make this a colorist thing, but just a side note, I noticed that when biracial women are raised by white women, especially the white women that have a hierarchy mindset where they think that they're better because black men choose them over black women and how they have something over black women, sometimes they teach that mindset to their daughters. Now, I can't say for certain that that was the mindset that mulatto grew up with, but oftentimes they have that mindset. I also put another clip when she was joking with her friend, saying how she's orangutan. I find that interesting that she would say she's a orangutan. Of all types of pet names, she could have gave her a puppy or cat, but she gave her orangutan, and she's a dark-skinned woman. So that just lets you know that she has a colorist mindset and a racial mindset. That can also been how she grew up too, because she probably grew up hearing her side of the family, her white side of the family, calling black people monkeys, the N-word, all types of racial slur. I'm just going ahead and assuming, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that she would say that as a joking, the way she said it. I don't think that's funny at all, especially coming from a biracial woman raised by a white woman. So that makes a big difference. But back to my point. My point is that she has a low racial self-identity because I don't believe her family did the necessary work in order to raise her racial self-esteem. They didn't put her around groups of people that were accepting, that could teach her how to navigate the world as a biracial woman and give her positive role models that she can look up to, that can help her have pride in who she is as a woman. This leads me to number 2. She's very male identified and she has internalized misogyny. I say she's male identified because when she gets on the award show, she don't think her family, she think her my man. Every time she's doing interviews, she's talking about her man, how she's gonna pop out with her man, how she's gonna pop out pregnant. It's just, everything is so male centered. Instead of her being focused and say, hey, I accomplished this. Now, don't get me wrong, if your man's a good man and he has helped you to accomplish the things that you set your mind to and that he helped you with your success, by all means, give him his accolades and his kudos. But in this case, she is the one that is rapping these songs. She got the word. Instead of her acknowledging her success and praising herself, she's praising a man of herself. So that's kind of interesting. Another thing I identify as Another thing that I identify in Latto as being internal misogynist is because she had a woman beat up because she was at her man's house. It's interesting how women, when their man is out of line, they always attack another woman instead of attacking the man. To me, that's a deep sign of internal misogynist, because instead of your hatred being towards that man that's actually cheating on you, you're going for the woman who has nothing to do with this man cheating. She may have knew that y'all was in a relationship, or she may not, but the fact that she so target another woman, I think she beat up a gorgeous doll. I think that's the lady's name. She's an influencer and she talks about the story a long time ago. So you can only imagine how she operates. If she's beating women up over a man, no telling she might have deep-seated issues on being a woman and have other hate towards other women, especially when it comes over a man. So she does have that pick-me, male-centered mindset, and this is how I can identify low self-esteem in her, because usually with low self-esteem women, they always seek outside external validation. It's never internal validation, because when it comes down to self-esteem, remember, it's self-esteem, meaning internal validation. We need to understand how to internalize how we feel about ourselves, not seek it from the outside. That leads me to number 3. She's in a toxic relationship. Now, again, as a disclaimer, I'm gonna say this over and over again. I do not know Savage 21, and I don't know Latto situation. But if the facts are what is presenting, that he is a married man, this shows that she likes toxic, chaotic relationship. She likes attaching herself to emotional, unavailable men, especially the track record he had. He already has 2 children by his wife. When he was with his wife, he had another baby on her as well. So that just shows his character. Not only does he have a bad character when it comes down moving with women, he has debts. He also has a gambling addiction. So that's another toxic trait. Usually when people have addictions like that, it's a disaster. So no telling how the relationship is going to end, especially being a co-parent and trying to work it out to raise this kid. It may not be as what she probably wanted to be. And like I said, I don't know these people out there going to move. But if his actions are showing that he's irresponsible, especially when it comes down to taking money for a tour, I think that's what I read. He had a debt when he went on tour. He was supposed to go on tour, I think, in the UK. He took these people's money and he never showed up for the tour. So right there, that's just telling you he's irresponsible. He's taking money and not completing the job that he was asked to do. So he's moving funny already just with that aspect. And if a man has already have debts, you can only imagine when this kid gets older how they're going to support this kid, because rap can only take you so far unless you're doing other business ventures. If you don't have no other money invested into other places, your rap career is short-lived. I don't never see no rapper that has a rap career for over 30-40 years. It usually doesn't happen that way. Moving on. So with her entertaining low value men, that just shows how her self-esteem is low. Any woman that has a healthy self-esteem, she has healthy boundaries with herself and also with the man that she's moving with. She's not gonna settle for a man that doesn't even claim her. Now, she's been claiming this man, saying, my man, this man has not once claimed her. That just lets you know that the dynamics of the relationship. So if a man doesn't even want to claim you personally, or doesn't want you to announce it to TMZ, you had to call TMZ to announce it. Allegedly, that's what they're saying in the streets. I don't know. But if you don't have a healthy foundation where a man doesn't want to claim you, that means he already doesn't respect you. He's already married to someone else. So you're not going to get most of his time. So this is a big indication of how her self-esteem is vibrating so low that she's getting with toxic, low vibrational men. And now a lot of people have been saying, well, she's successful, she's beautiful, she's rich. That don't mean nothing at the grand scheme of things, due to the fact it doesn't matter. A person can have all that external validation, but at the end of the day, it all depends on how they feel about themselves, because you can remove all that. You can remove the beauty, the success, the money. Then how are you going to feel about yourself? You can't attach yourself to things that can change at any given moment. You have to base your self-esteem out as who you are as a person and what you value yourself. And this is going to lead me to, as women, how we can learn from Latto's situation instead of us being pigeons. And I'm working on my emotional intelligence. I'm not trying to basically call people names because I disagree with their behavior, because it's a negative connotation. We don't want to label people, especially when the behavior can't be changed. So I'm gonna teach you ways that you can change it. Now, me personally, I have suffered from low self-esteem because being in the military, oh my gosh, the military wasn't for me. But anyways, moving on. Growing up as a child, I was bullied a lot. I was bullied by my family and the classmates. And I was just like the awkward child, just very quiet by myself. And I was constantly bullied for my looks. I was constantly bullied for my hair, my intelligence. And so it took an impact on me, especially when my family is saying negative things. They were saying things like, oh, I know she's not going to be anything when she grew up. She's gonna have, everybody used to always say that I was gonna have multiple kids, be on welfare, I was gonna be in drugs, I was never gonna make it out of high school. But I'm so glad I proved my haters wrong, and I'm gonna tell you how you can actually can basically prove your haters wrong and be the best version of yourself despite what these naysayers say about you and your character. So number one, this is how you're going to increase your self-esteem. You're going to do positive affirmations and identity. I read in the book, a popular book by, what's his name, James Clear, I believe, the author, Atomic Habits. He says that in order for us to change our habits, we have to self-identify out as, we have to have a self-identity towards behavior that we want to change. For example, let's say if you were a lazy person and you keep saying, oh, I'm a lazy person, more than likely you're going to have habits of a lazy person due to the fact that that's how you're identifying yourself. Now, my channel is pretty but disciplined. I had patterns where I was very inconsistent, very decisive, but I choose to have discipline, and that's how I identify myself so that I can keep myself accountable to that identity. I also use positive affirmation because I'm my own self-critic. I used to talk negative to myself, but I had to reinforce the positivity, and I had to give objective proof. And what I mean is, here's a big thing I struggle with as far as my self-esteem. It was my intelligence. A lot of people would doubt me and say I was slow, I was not that smart, whatever the case might, whatever their negative connotations were. However, I redirect that energy and start pouring into myself. I said, no, you're smart. This is the reason why you're smart, because you got A's in your math. You got A's in this subject. You passed and you have 4 degrees. This is telling you that you are intelligent. So I had to have objective proof to prove that I'm not what people say about me. That's another thing you want to do, is just make sure that you have objective proof. For instance, let's say if you're an overweight person, just start identifying yourself as a skinny person. I know I'm skinny. I look good in my body. Then you start developing the habits of trying to be skinny. So you want to make sure that you're identifying who you would like to be and just have the habits of a skinny person. and then show objective proof of it. Say, for example, like I say, if you're an obese person and you're trying to lose weight, you can say, well, you know what? Here's proof that I'm losing weight. The scale saying that I'm 5 less pounds than last week. I've been drinking more water. So this is objective proof that you're going into the right direction, that you're no longer going to be that fat person, but now you're going to be a skinny person, if that makes sense. The last thing on how to increase your self-esteem is, the second thing is fix things that you lack in your confidence. So for instance, if you don't like the way your teeth is, you hate to smile because you're missing teeth or your smile is crooked, just save money to fix your teeth. Just put money aside, find ways that you can get the money up to fix your teeth. Or if it's something like in your intelligence wise, just start reading more books. If you feel like you lack certain areas when it comes down to intelligence or having articulation, just practice every day. Spend 5 or 10 minutes practicing on your articulation, or spend 10 or 20 minutes reading books so that it can increase your knowledge and increase the way you think. That's number 2. So number 2, just fix what you lack in. If your weight is an issue, start fixing on your weight, start eating better foods. And this is what this channel is for. You can look at the videos on what foods that you can eat, and I do have cooking recipes that you can look at as well if you're trying to change your habits as far as eating. And I have a bunch of exercise programs on here as well, so please definitely check those out if you can. Third, and my last point, this video is already too long, my last point is to change your environment. Like I said, when I was growing up as a child, I was in a predominantly black school that was in a low social economic area. Not only that, I had negative family members. When I got an adult, I didn't have to deal with those people anymore, and I didn't necessarily move from my town, but I disassociate with those people. And the people that I did have in my life that came with negative energy and did not help put positive affirmation in, I cut these people off. So I cut family members off. I cut people that I knew for years. If they were contributing to my low self-esteem and low self-worth, they were gone. So you don't have to go to the extreme levels that I did when it came down to cutting people off, but you need to distance yourself, especially if they're saying negative things. Everything they come around, they always saying something negative about your looks, about your intelligence, about anything. Get rid of them. They're not helping you. And if you're living in a bad area, try to save up money to get away from a bad area so that you can have experience. I always say that you should travel, because travel broadens your horizon. It broadens your mindset, because you see so much beauty in the world, and not just in your home city, but just everywhere. So definitely you want to get out and travel. If you can, move away from your city and move to another city that can bring you positivity so that you can become a better person. And also, the last thing about this is the last point. The last thing about self-esteem, to boost your self-esteem, you want to make sure that you commit to yourself. This develops self-trust. If you say you're going to go to gym, make sure you go to gym. If you don't get a chance to go to gym for whatever reason, just get up and start doing jumping jacks, do push-ups. This means that you're committed to doing exercise. That means that once you start trusting yourself, then you have better outcome. That means, so if I can actually trust myself to make these type of moves, then I can do greater things. So you also want to commit to yourself, make sure that you're making good on your promises to yourself, making good on promises to yourself. So definitely that's the last thing. And if you like this video, please comment and subscribe and share your thoughts of what you think about Latto's pregnancy. Are you congratulating her? Do you think she's making a mistake? And how do you feel her career is going to end now since she's pregnant? Do you think her album's going to flop, or she's going to have more success now since she has the baby? Until next time, again, like, comment, and subscribe. Love you.